Dear learners, today in this session we are looking into SDG goal number 6, clean water and sanitation. Because when we talk about health and sanitation, we know that at micro level that the role of, especially in a micro level, the role of water is very important. And when we talk about infrastructure at a micro level, especially that rural area, the role of this health and sanitation is very important. So the important goals, different of the 17 goals, that goal number 6 that talks about the clean water and sanitation. We know that the fresh water, it is a very precious resource that is essential to human health, food and energy security, poverty eradication, many other aspects of sustainable development. The water-related ecosystem always provided us natural sites for human settlement, along with a wealth of ecosystem services like other natural sources. Water is also under threat. The demand of water has outpaced population growth, and half of the world population is already experiencing severe water scarcity. At least 1 month of this is the status of water resources in the world, across the world. So that's why is this goal number 6 that talks about clean water and sanitation. The basic objective is to ensure access to safe water resources and sanitation for all. Because when we talk about sustainable development goals and infrastructure, health and sanitation is play an important role at micro level, especially at community level and others. Okay. So this goal has 8 targets and 11 indicators. So first target is by 2030 we have to achieve universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all. To look into that progress, that proportion of the population using safely managed drinking water services is one of the indicator. The target number 2, that is on that to achieve access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all, and open defecation, paying special attention to the needs of the women, girls, and those in vulnerable situations. So to look into that target, that 2 indicators is here, that is proportion of population using safely managed sanitation services. The another is that proportion of pollution using a hand washing facility with soap and water. Target number 3, now by 2030 we have to improve water quality by reducing pollution, eliminating dumping and minimizing release of hazardous chemicals and materials, halving the proportion of untreated wastewater, and substantially increasing recycling and safe reuse globally. So to look into that, proportion of domestic and industrial wastewater flows safely treated is one of the indicators, because we have to reduce the pollution. Then how to assess that. Then proportion of bodies of water with good ambient water quality, then only we will be able to know that status of good water quality available across the globe. The target number 4, by 2030 substantially increase water use efficiency across all sectors and ensure sustainable withdrawal and supply of fresh water, to address water scarcity and substantially reduce the number of people suffering from water scarcity. So to look into that, we have the indicator is change in water use efficiency over time. And the another indicator is level of water stress, that is defined as freshwater withdrawal as a proportion of available freshwater resources. These are the 2 important indicators to look into. The target number 4, that is sustaining water use efficiency, to look into water use efficiency and address water scarcity. Right. Then target number 5 is, by 2030 we have to implement integrated water resource management at all levels, including through transboundary cooperation as appropriate. So to look into that, we have to look into that as an indicator, that is degree of integrated water resource management, proportion of transboundary basin area with an operational arrangement for water cooperation. Because when we talk about water, water pollution has no boundary, and we have that water body, some you will get in transboundary area also. The target number 6 is to protect and restore water related ecosystem, including mountains, forests, wetlands, river, aquifers, and lakes. So to look into that, the basic indicator is change in the extent of water related ecosystem over time. The another target number 7 is on by 2030 we need to expand international cooperation and capacity building. That support has to be given to developing countries in water and sanitation related activities in the program, including water harvesting, desalination, water efficiency, wastewater treatment, recycling and reuse technology. To look into the progress, the basic indicator is amount of water and sanitation related official development assistance that is part of government coordinated spending plan. Means how much money you have to spend on this direction. Then 8, target number 8 is to support and strengthen participation of local communities in improving water and sanitation management. So the basic indicator to look into the progress of this particular target is proportion of local administrative units with established and operational policies and procedures for participation of local communities in water and sanitation management. So this is about the SDGs target and indicator. When we look into the global status and progress, how much progress so far have been made in this direction that achieving SDGs, that target of goal number 6. Despite those, we have a number of progress, a number of accelerated action. But we need to work more to provide billions of people with safely managed drinking water and sanitation. If you look into some of the figure, we see that between 2000 and 2017, the proportion of the global population using safely managed drinking water, the highest level of service, that increased from 61% to 71%, right? That is progression variable. The proportion of the global population using safely managed sanitation service, one is that drinking water, then another second category is sanitation services, safely managed sanitation services, that is increased from 28% in 2000 to 45% in 2017. Means 17 years we have increased so much, with Eastern and then Southeastern Asia making the fastest progress if you look regionally. An additional 30% of the global population use basic sanitation services. That is going well. But despite all this progress, there are estimated about 673 million people, that is 9% of the global population, still practice open defecation in 2017, especially in most of the Southern Asian countries. So we need to achieve universal access to this basic sanitation need to be double and need to be increased. So we have to work towards this direction. So if you look into here in this figure, the global coverage of sanitation, drinking water and hygienic services from 2002 to 2017, this figure shows that we are improving a lot, though in some part of the country, some part of the world, though there may be up to what we're expecting, but it's improving, going very well. But we have to keep with this progress, right? And we have to work more to achieve 100%. The other is water stress that is affecting people on every continent, and we need immediate and collective action. So if you look into some figure, we find that 2 billion people live in countries, most of the countries experiencing high water stress, and about 4 billion people, they have experience of severe water scarcity at least a month in a year. And on the last century, global water use is increased at more than twice the rate of population growth. That growth, along with the rapid because that growth of population and the water use, that is along with urbanization is also increasing, socioeconomic development is happening, changing consumption pattern then continues to drive. Because of all this, water demand is increasing, and because of the climate change. So by 2030, it is estimated that 700 million people could be displaced by intense water scarcity. So this is quite an alarming situation. And it's quite alarming level of water stress across any region. That's threatening when you have the water stress, what is the elixir of life, and that is threatening the progress of the towards sustainable development. Now, when we talk about high water stress, that is defined as the withdrawal of too much fresh water from the natural sources compared with the fresh water available. That it can have devastating consequences for the environment and can constantly reverse sustainable development. If unmitigated water stress, that can lead to water scarcity, which displayed, as I told you, and we know that about 700 million people by 2030. Globally, water stress remains at its 17%. However, this overall value marks a huge regional variation. Globally, in average, we are okay, but people look into the regional variation. This is also very dangerous. For example, in Northern Africa and Central Southern Asia, they register about water stress of levels of above 70%. And Western Asia and Eastern Asia with stress level between 45% and 58% respectively. So we need to work more. So here in this figure you will find out level of water stress, fresh water withdrawn as a proportion of available fresh water. Here you will find out in 2017 that regional wise. Overall, well, we have this 17%, right? So if you look into region wise in this figure, so it is not uniform. So we need to look those regions which need to be improved. We have to improve that. We know that countries are advancing the integrated management of their water resources, but we need more rapid progress in this direction, because it must be carefully. You should manage that water resources carefully if we have to ensure sustainability and equitability of that water resources among different users. So to accept these, we have a global framework and approach that is called as integrated water resource management, that covers policies, institution, management instruments, financing. Of the 172 countries that reported on their implementation of integrated water resource management in 2018, 80% had medium-low levels of implementation of it. That is quite good. That means that they have laid a solid foundation for implementing the many elements of the approach. This is quite good, However, another part is 60% of the countries we are not on track to reach the 2030 target of full implementation, and acceleration progress is required, particularly in the area of sustainable financing, because some of the underdeveloped country they do not have enough financial and the support. The economic condition is not much good. So in 2018, the average global score of integrated water management implementation was 49 out of 100. So we have to improve that. A number of donor countries, they are committing to the water sector, and it is increasing, and the disbursement level is also going well. So if you look into figure, the disbursement of official development assistance by donor countries to the water sector increased for several years, that reached around $9.1 billion in 2016. Here, you will see in this figure that commitment and disbursement of ODA to the water sector between 2000 to 2017, it is progressing well. right? The disbursement commitment by donor organization, right? And in the meantime, we know that and last in 2019, end of 2019, we were from the end of 2019 onward, in the last till today, 2021, January, February, we are having corona crisis that has brought to the fore the critical importance of water, sanitation, hygiene for protecting human health. Despite the progress of all these things, billions of people across the world, they lack these basic services. So we need to take immediate action to improve access to water, sanitation, hygiene services to prevent infection and content of the spread of this, especially this COVID-19. So you will see here still we are having some gaps. So this figure shows that the gaps in water, sanitation, hygiene, which are very critical to containing the spread of COVID-19 and other diseases. You will see here figure the proportion of population that has a hand washing facility with soap and water at home, that is based on 27%. Because when you talk about COVID-19, we are talking about regular hand washing using soap and others. So that facilities needs to be given to all sections, to each and every individual in the world. So there is still we have some gap. So we need to improve. This is worldwide we have 60% of the population only we are able to give this basic infrastructure, basic facility. In this figure also you will see that how safely managed drinking water, basic drinking water, safely managed sanitation, that what is the trend, basic sanitation, basic hygiene is going in the world in terms of percentage. So we have to achieve 100% here by 2017. We are having up to that 45, 60, 75 and that 80, 90% of different category, that is safely managed drinking water, safely managed sanitation, basic drinking water, basic sanitation, basic hygiene. So we have to look towards improving this. To get 100%, we have to work very efficiently and we need to collaborate each other. So if you want to look into our India's approach and progress, we have safe and affordable drinking water for all program. So under that approach of safe and affordable drinking water for all, the government is committed to providing safe and adequate drinking water to all habitation by 2022. We have the National Rural Drinking Water Program that has already provided 81.07% rural habitation with access to 40 liters of drinking water per capita per day, and another 15.58% with partial access. The target is to provide pipe water connection by 2024 under our Jal Jeevan mission. And when we talk about water and sanitation, quality of water is very important. So we have a host of measures to monitor and remedy of water quality by Central Water Commission, and we have about 396 key location area which regularly monitors the water quality across the country. On the other hand, we know that grossly that polluting industries are one of the industries are one of the source of water pollution. When we talk about water pollution, limit those things to prevent those pollution. Then under this this Central Pollution Control Board, they identified and effluent monitor and the control and compliance measures are also regularly taken at different water monitoring stations. We have Namami Gange program, which is an integrated conservation mission that was launched to accomplish the twin objective of effective abatement of pollution, conservation, and a rejuvenation of River Ganga. So it is also going well. Then, to achieve sanitation hygiene for all, the government of India is committed to creating healthier communities by increasing access to clean water and sanitation. We have the flagship initiative of the Swachh Bharat mission covering all rural and urban areas successfully and achieved the target of making India open defecation free by 2nd October 2019. This program, Open Defecation and Free, aims at conversion of unsanitary toilets to pore flush toilets, eradication of manual scavenging, municipal solid waste management, raising awareness and nudging positive behavioral change in people. We are progressing very sharply from 38.70% in 2014 when the mission was Swachh Bharat mission was launched. Now we can say that we have achieved 100% cooperation in rural India. Close to 6 million villages, 633 districts and 35 states union territories have been verified to be open defecation free in December 2019. Access to improved source of drinking water. To give in this direction, the national target is to provide access to an improved source of drinking water to all, and currently we have 95.5% of the households that have access to improved sources of drinking water. And as per National Sample Survey data, Sikkim, Chandigarh and Daman and Diu have achieved the national target. Then with just over 56.7%, Kerala has the lowest of households that have access to improved drinking water, improved source of drinking water that we have to improve. In terms of rural household with individual household toilet, we have as under the Swachh Bharat mission, that is Gramin MIS, all states have achieved, union territories states have achieved the target of providing individual household toilets in all rural households. As on 25th December 2019, a total of 10,15,83,053 household toilets have been constructed in rural areas since 2nd October 2014. And when we talk about urban household with individual household toilet, our progress is that we have roughly 97.22% of the urban household in India have access to individual household latrine as on July 2019. The target is to achieve 100%. And 9 states and 2 union territories have already achieved this target. Delhi has a meager coverage of below 1%, as only 5963 of the target of 1,25,398 IHL, means individual household latrine, and we have to improve in this direction. Then another parameters we need to look into the providing safe drinking water, health and sanitation is school with separate toilet facilities for girls. Roughly in this direction, the India have 97.43% of schools that have separate toilet facilities for girls, and that is 7 UTs and the state of Goa have already achieved this target of 100%, right? And in terms of wastewater treatment, only about 87.62% of industries, 17 highly polluting red category gross polluting industries comply with wastewater treatment as per CBCB norms. In this, Manipur, Chandigarh have achieved this target with all industry complying with wastewater treatment norms, and the other states also going in a good direction. So, in summarize is that you will see here we have 18.01% blocks that have over exploitation is over there. Then we have 95.5% improved source of drinking water, household with toilet 100%. In rural area, 97.22% in urban area. So this figure shows that India is progressing very well by implementing its own mechanism and approaches to achieve sustainable development goal. That talks about clean water and sanitation. So today we have discussed on the basic targets and indicators about clean water and sanitation of SDGs Goal 6. This particular goal is important to, from the point of the infrastructure region, is that when we talk about infrastructure development and the role of clean water and sanitation is one of the basic fundamental infrastructure that needs to be given to all citizens across the globe. Thank you very much. Thank you. These are the references which I depend for this presentation and recommend for all of you. to look into these references. Thank you very much.